has chosen the storyline spread for your general monthly reading, which is a scattershot across the entire sign, telling 3, 4, or even 5 different stories for people going through different scenarios this month. The stories can be about any topic, so the floor is wide open. People say that often multiple stories do and will resonate with them, but the main goal of the storyline spread is to find that one story that is all about you. And that is what we're going to do today. Welcome in Libra to your storyline spread for March 2024. We're going to get started right now, and if you cannot see from there, my table is full of cards. We got cards everywhere. Very large spread storyline as it turned out. It's only 3 stories, but there's a lot of moving parts in each of these stories. We got to get started right now to get this stuff done, guys. I need to make some room. We're going to get story 1, which is all about work. Little spoiler alert, the storylines can be about anything they want, any category they want. Here they decided to talk about the work corner. Work, business, enterprise, area of study, collegiate courses, retirement if you're of that age, entrepreneurship. For most people, just the JOB. But as you can see, a wide variety of things, even hobbies and interests can fall under here, and learning new things. The first thing they want to talk about in this corner, or in this story, I should say, is my 4 of Wands, which is some kind of an event. Something out of the ordinary happening for work. Maybe it's a work party, maybe it's a gathering, going out with your coworkers, doing something fun. Pizza party, not sure what, but it's usually a pleasurable thing. And an event, my definition of an event is something that is out of the ordinary good, something that doesn't happen all the time, like all of those things I just named, okay? So events coming in very good, whatever they refer to there, looks very good for you, Libras. And if you already know about something like that going on, or expecting that in March, it's definitely your story. If not, bear with me, we got 2 other stories to go. Like I said, lots of moving parts. The next thing I talk about in this story, though, story 1, is very much a lack of authority from being the boss. They really want you to be the boss here. I don't know if that's literal. For some of you, it may be. Like, you have to be the CEO. You have to be in charge. You got to be, in charge of your coworkers. You got to be over. Maybe you need to be promoted. Go to the next level up. Something like that. They show a lack of authority happening. They don't want you to get derailed here in March, so they bring up that the constant boss mode authority is going to be required in March. And that is how you get to this success. That's what they show next with my 9 of Cups. That is my trophy case card, like putting a little accomplishment on the shelf. So you guys are getting some things done here and checking some things off the list in a very nice way. The money is coming early in March. If there's some money coming in, this has to be monetary related, because I don't think we'd be talking about health in the work story. It just doesn't fit. So this has got to be financial. So we're getting some financial notifications here coming in early in March. Notification can be anything from a message or letting you know something's hitting your account. Maybe it's an IRS check. Maybe it's an extra monetary bump for some reason. Maybe some side work you did, or maybe somebody paying you back something they owe you. Anyway, it's a good positive thing coming in early in March. Good financial opportunities there, especially if you guys are boss mode like we talked about. They talk about going the distance with my Oracle Angel card. I don't always read that where I just did, but it's just where I stuck it, so I'm reading it right now. I feel like it flows. And they talk about going the distance here. They want you to see something through to the end. Okay, so don't give up on whatever you're working for or working on. Remember that it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. For gosh sakes, it is definitely not a sprint. The next thing they show here is my 10 of Wands, learning lessons, repetitive lessons, learning things over and over, and you're just tired of it. You're like, hey, you know what? I don't really want to do that no more. Well, the universe doesn't care, and here you are. So you have all the tools. You are continuing to learn and move forward. Don't let that cripple you. That is a thing. This card in this deck they wanted me to use for you can be about, not moving forward with those lessons. You have the lessons. You have all the accrued knowledge and wisdom, but they want you to make sure you're using it. You're applying that wisdom. You're moving forward, okay? So don't get stuck. Don't get stagnant. The next thing they show here is we need to move out of local. They want you to get out maybe of the office, get out of the house, depending on where you work. Basically, they're saying like unlocalized. The energy is way too confined. It's way too in one place, and they want you to kind of expand this. That's, of course, going to be different definitions for different folks. Good time to remind you, too, that this is a general reading. This is for all of my Libras, and, of course, we're sharing that bubble energy, and, Spirit does a good job of touching everybody as best they can. But nothing beats a personal private reading. Those are available on scottsagent.com, a wide variety from small all the way up to full service. little something for everybody there on scottsagent.com, and my clients, the great people who keep coming back to get read time after time with me. I suggest every 6 months. Those people are in great shape right now because of one major thing. They have the ammunition, the planning and preparation. That is what tarot is great for. Of course, bad things happen to everybody, challenges, things don't go the way we plan. That's very, that everybody is affected by that. That is not just you. That is not just your neighbor. Everybody's affected by that. But it's about what you do with what happens to you, and that is where tarot comes in. It gives you that ammunition to be ready for things, see it coming a little bit, and get on the best path possible for you. Like I said, scottsagent.com. Make sure you book your reading today, guys. Get you in a good spot there as we go into March and April. Get ready for the summer. Story 2. I'm going to go up here. Story 2, the first thing they talk about is my hoarder card, hanging on to something for too long. It makes me feel financial, but it could also be health related for a certain part of my audience and maybe a smaller part of my audience. And they're talking about not being a hoarder here. So something needs to be purged. We need to let go of something, just like when they go into a hoarder's house and they're like, okay, we're just going to sell all this crap now. We're going to get rid of all this stuff. You've been hanging on to it for way too long. Maybe what you're hanging on to for too long here has nothing to do with that. Maybe you're holding on to emotional baggage. Maybe you're holding on to actual things, but it could, like I said, be emotional baggage. Maybe you're hanging on to something from the past. Maybe you're hanging on to feelings, stressors, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. So there's something that needs to be purged here. If you're a Libra who feels like you got to get rid of something, get something out of your life, like removal, this is more than likely your story here in 2. The next thing they show here is the card of my High Priestess inverted. This is a bunch of different definitions. Hard for a general reading, but one of these definitions is you don't have the whole puzzle picture in front of you. So you don't really know what you're building right now. And that's okay, because the information will come when it's supposed to. Maybe you're not supposed to know something right now. This can also be seeking new information too, like representative of college courses, learning new skill sets, that kind of stuff coming in for your March. Now they talk about here the card of bankruptcy, being kind of like at rock bottom financially. Like I said, also could be health for some people here. Now, here's what we need to do about that. If that is you, here's how we turn that ship around. Getting busy. Okay, next I have my 4 of Swords. It's inverted. Usually it means peaceful, relaxed. Inverted, it's the opposite of that, which is busy bee. Just go 100 and, well, not even 100. Let's call it 200%. Time to go 200% on this, okay? Even though you don't have the whole picture, it's okay. That's just the piece that you just don't overwhelm yourself with. You don't let that affect you or bother your day-to-day decisions. You take it a day at a time, and you get busy this day, and you take care of this, this, and this. And then the next day, you get busy with CDE, right? ABC, day 1, CDE after that. Messed up my letters there, but you know what I mean. So anyway, there we go. Getting busy and getting after it. The next thing they show here is 8 of Swords. It's inverted as well. This story is very, very blocked. It's coming in very stagnated energy. Now here, this is a card about having some freedom here, freedom of the mind, but not as much as you like or maybe need, and that this is actually breaking open in March. So Libras are getting more freedom and ability to move around and do more things, have more flexibility with certain things. Flexibility is going to come in as a big thing with your rune stone. We'll get to that when we get to that. They talk about between worlds. So they show here that a lot of Libras are very much pay attention to your dreams, because you guys have like one foot in spirit world. Okay, so you guys are very highly tuned, connected. Pay attention to the signs the universe is throwing at you. You may have loved ones be visiting you in your sleep too, dream state. It's a good time to get connection through. So something like a Messages from Heaven would work very well for you guys too. Another personal product of mine on the website, scottsagent.com. Between worlds, there you go. So the one, I'm just noticing before I get into story 3 that there is one thing I did not pull. I'm going to do it now so I make sure I don't forget it later. Story 3, guys. The first thing that we talk about and bring in here is my Queen of Wands. They said not the person, though. So this is the energetic work version of female energy, which is nurturing. Nurturing something with work is what comes in here. Like you're really trying to cater to something, you're really trying to build something, or maybe take care of your co-workers, something like that. Or you're really trying to build a hobby, build a business, build an interest of yours. A lot of you are doing this with somebody you really care about. They bring in Soulmates card, my Oracle Angel card. And this is somebody that is very close to your heart. So you're not doing this alone, okay? That may be describing what is happening. That may also be the advice of what you should do, because they show that this is incomplete. They show that we're trying to get completion here. You're trying to check this box off the list, off the checklist, and it's just a process, and you're just not there yet, and it's fine because you will. However, there is some stuff coming up here. This is my Five of Swords, which is my War and Chaos card. In this deck, that energy is very, very turned down. That's a good thing for you guys. However, you're getting ready for something here. You're getting ready to go to war. Maybe it's the step before that. It's the calm before the storm. It's that kind of energy. You're just laying there. You're contemplating stuff in your mind. You're really kind of doing what Einstein called thought experiments. You're really kind of rattling things around and imagining in your mind how things would play out if this happened and this. And you know what? Get some sleep. Make sure you don't, run your mind 100% of the time. Okay, give yourself a time to break and take a relaxation pill, so to speak, there. They show that this ends up in a good way. It's my second best card in the deck. It's my 10 of Cups. It's inverted, though, so it's turned around for me. And not just that, but in this deck that they wanted me to use for you, this energy is very weird because it's like, man, it's a pretty good life I'm living here, but something just doesn't feel as good as I expected it to or wanted it to. There's something here that's coming in a little off. Even though things are relatively in good shape, things can be better. We can get some things done here and make things go a little smoother, more with the flow. Speaking of flow, let's get your runestone, which is flow. I've already pulled it here. It's kind of an inverted check mark, and it is the runestone of flow, so it's letting you know to go with the flow. Don't be rigid to change. Things are gonna be going all over the place here. It's like a sweeping current. If you fight it, you just run out of energy. Okay, so go with the flow as much as possible, regardless of what story you are in. And now I'm gonna get to this extra thing I pulled to make sure I didn't forget it, because last month I did forget it, and this month I don't want to do that to you. So that is my extra Oracle Angel card that I'm doing for every sign, for every single spread this year. Just an extra thank you for you guys. And I forgot to do it last month, not just for you, but for everybody. So not picking on Libras, but accidentally picked on everybody. Your extra Oracle Angel card of protection here is To the Sea. So there may be, and that's SEA, To the Sea. So there's a push here. And you know what? I just noticed that when I messed up your letters earlier, I mentioned sea twice. So that may be Spirit's way of saying extra pay attention to the sea. Got a little bit of synchronicity going on here. Sea is the way. Earlier I was talking about letter C. Now I'm talking about the SEA, the ocean. Okay. So maybe telling you to get somewhere coastal. Maybe you got somewhere to go or traveling going on in March. Get by the ocean. Maybe a little bit of grounding would be good for you. Also, this is a card about direction and that things are going the right way, even though you don't feel like it, because they show the woman in the boat kind of looking down, like kind of moping around a little bit. And they're letting you know that the current is taking you forward, even if it feels like it doesn't, right? So there we go. To the Sea. Good card to wrap up this portion of your reading with. Now we're going to cut over to your moon cycles. We have a big super new moon coming in here in March. It is the best time to bring new things into your life, guys, so pay attention to that date. Also going to wrap up with your homily, which is a spiritual pep talk done by me at the end of your reading. I hope you enjoy that. Okay guys, it is moon cycles forecast time. Let's talk about these lunar energies that are all around us anyways, so we can use it to our benefit, implement some positive change into your month. Well, the first thing you need to understand is whether these energies are coming in or going out. Just like the tides, the moon has control of that. In the same way, you can use it too. The first thing that hits chronologically this month is the new moon. You're going to see all the text information on your screen, any rare occurrences, as well as the date. Now, this is a target date for the new moon. It doesn't have to be done on this date, guys. I really like to bracket a few days before and a few days after to get a very powerful week where you can bring new things into your life and really manifest. If it is NEW, it's not there before, brand new, this is the best time to bring it into your life. Something new financially, maybe something new with work, new love, new health. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's new, this is the best time of the month to work on these things, really help bring it in. Adversely, the full moon, the opposite energy, the energy going out, hits on this date on your screen. And of course, the same rules apply. It doesn't have to be done on this date. We're talking about a week window, a few days on each side of it here. When this energy is very strong going out, and the energy going out is the best time to get things out of your life that don't belong there or that you don't want there. Something that's got control of you or hold of you that you don't want. Maybe something like a bad habit, maybe emotional baggage, a bill that's got to go. That would be something financially, maybe something with health, maybe an eating habit that's got to go. It doesn't matter if it's got to go. The full moon is your best bet to get this change to stick. If any of this has confused you, I've put together a moon cycle cheat sheet. I do it every single month. It is free. It is on the website, guys. You can check it out very easily. It is a little graphic illustration, a tool that you can use so you can kind of see these changes moving in and moving out, so you can align things in your month to it to really get them to stick, implement some great positive changes. Now let's get into your homily. Welcome into your homily for March 2024. Today we're going to be talking about an experiment with rats. This little guy here is going to help give us an example of hope and how important it is for humans to also have hope. So this experiment we're talking about was done at, I think about 1954, at least in the 1950s, from Dr. Kurt Richter. He's a Harvard grad. He is a scientist at Johns Hopkins, and what he studied, what the experiment began with at least, was he wanted to see how long lab rats would last, who are very strong swimmers, by the way, in a bucket of water. So how long they could tread water for until they basically could not do it anymore and passed away. And by today's standards, this would be a cruel experiment. But in the 50s, a very different world back then. And this teaches us a very important lesson. So I'm almost glad that he did this for the sake of humanity learning how important this is. So what he did was he gauged that it was about 15 minutes on average how long the lab rats would last for. And he didn't understand why that was, because rats are very strong swimmers. They can swim. They're documented in science for swimming across large lakes, rivers, all kinds of things that take longer than 15 minutes. So the results weren't matching the real world, the reality of things. And he didn't understand why. So he set out to figure out why, because he started to realize that he thought they were giving up hope. It wasn't about that they couldn't last any longer. He thought that they decided that there was just no way out, no escape. And they literally just gave up, they surrendered. And in which case was their lives. So what he did was he gauged this by testing it, by doing the same experiment, except what changed was when he observed that they were giving up hope, when they were about to just take their last breath and go under the water, he picked them up, he saved them, he brought them up, he corralled them back he warmed them back up, he made sure that they're breathing again and back to normal. I don't know how long of a process that was, if it was a few minutes or 10 minutes or an hour, I'm not sure what. But once he felt that they were good again, he put them back in that same bucket of water. Nothing else has changed. So what do you think happened? We would expect maybe they're going to last another 15 minutes because that's what they did before. Or maybe they're going to last less because they're a little tired, right, from running around before. But that was not the results, not at all. The results would blow your mind. These results were hours later, not just 15 minutes. In fact, some of these rats swam for 60 hours the second time in the bucket. The only difference is having been saved, having that little glimmer of hope that there is something to aim for here and that you can pull yourself out here. And even though the rat wasn't pulling himself out, he didn't know what was going on. But he did have hope implanted in him from being saved. And that savior mechanism gave him hope to persevere and to keep going. And this was copied over many rats. And it wasn't just one rat who's a marathon swimmer who just could go 60 hours. This was many rats who just kicked the butt of the 15-minute time window, the second go of it, by about 240 times over. So this is a glimmering beacon of hope for humanity, that this is what you can accomplish in your future by having a little bit of hope, by persevering, doing things a little bit longer than you naturally would, by knowing that things are going to change, things are going to improve, things are going to get better. So the question I propose to you is how much longer you can swim for, how much longer you can persevere for, how much harder you would work at this if you knew that you were just this close to getting out of it. If the rat can do it, you certainly can do it. So that is just the power. It's not just the power of positive thinking, because it's beyond that. It's something much more intrinsic, much more spiritual, much deeper. And that is the lesson that this rat teaches us. That's why I wanted to share this experiment with you. It's very interesting to me, very intriguing, and also very profound, because I think this is something that we can all do with proof of how positive the outcomes can be in our lives. So I hope you guys have enjoyed your homily. Hope you've enjoyed the reading as well. I hope you can implement it in March. Hope you have an excellent March. I know you will.
So I guess the fortune teller's right.